A new school year is exciting, but let's be honest, it can also feel a little intimidating. New teachers, new classes, more responsibility, maybe even a new school. The beginning of a school year is a fresh start. It's a chance to set new goals, build good habits, make new friends, and even become a better version of yourself. That's why today I am sharing my number one piece of advice right here, right now. I'm your host, Davis Knight, and I'm so glad you're here. If you're getting ready to head back to school, this episode is for you. If you're new here, what we're about to do is get into what I like to call our issue, where today we will be discussing, you guessed it, back to school. I want to remind you of something important, and this is my number one piece of advice. Believe in yourself. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep learning, keep growing, and keep showing up. One small step every day can lead to amazing things by the end of the school year. And this doesn't just apply to kids. If you're an adult, sometimes just another day at work can be difficult too, and you need this reminder. For me, this year is going to be a little different. I'm going to have 5 different classes and 5 different teachers. I'll admit it. My first thought was, whoa, how am I going to stay organized? If you've ever felt that way, you're definitely not alone. Here's a few things I'm going to try this year. Take 1 minute before leaving each class to make sure my assignment is written down and everything is back in the right folder. I'm also going to keep a routine. I'll put my backpack, laptop, and school supplies in the same place every day, so I'm not searching for them in the morning. I won't wait until the last minute. Even if I only work for 15 or 20 minutes, getting started is usually the hardest part. I'm also going to use reminders, a planner, calendar, or just maybe a phone reminder that can help me keep track of homework, quizzes, and projects. Lastly, I'm going to check my backpack before bed. It only takes a minute, but it can save a lot of stress the next morning. Lastly, for my piece of advice for you, never feel dumb asking a question. It's always better to ask than to assume. One thing I've learned is that I have to work a little harder to stay organized, and that's okay. Everyone has strengths, and everyone has things they have to work on. Learning how you learn is actually a superpower. Organization is not about being perfect. It's about building small habits that help you succeed. If you forget something or make a mistake, don't beat yourself up. Learn from it, make a plan, and keep moving forward. Every day is a new opportunity to grow. And remember, as I said, my number one piece of advice is believe in yourself. Here, I'm going to share a quote. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Quote by Theodore Roosevelt. Believing in yourself does not mean you'll never be nervous. It means choosing to take the first step anyway. Confidence is not something you are born with. It's something you build every time you choose courage over fear. Also, it is very comforting to remember God is with you. Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. God never promised school would always be easy. He promised He would always be with us. Remember, you are never walking alone. Next, don't stress out and try to do everything in one school year, or even just 1 year alone. You don't have to be the king of the world in 1 year. The founders of NVIDIA were free people who were literally camping out in the Denny's and lived off the diner's cheap coffee, and all they wanted was to make computer graphics better. NVIDIA later went from graphics cards you insert in your computer to get better graphics when doing tasks like gaming to making supercomputers used by AI companies worldwide with a market cap of $4 trillion. That's more than the U.S. government and even more than Apple, which was basically the undefeated king for 12 years straight. Before we conclude our issue, I have a challenge for you. When this school year starts, or if you're an adult going to work any day, just think to yourself, I can do this and I believe in myself. Also, for us kids, Try not to think about waking up early or the 100,000 photos mom takes on the front porch before the first day of school, which, fun fact, both pop up as what kids find the most annoying about the start of the school year. And that concludes our U issue. But don't click off just yet. We still have tons of fun things along the way, such as current news, trivia, jokes, a back-to-school tech tip, and more along the way, so stay tuned. Next up is What in the World, where we discuss all things news and put it in a simple perspective. Starting with some U.S.-Iran conflict news, the government is saying that likely Iran is responsible for the cyber attacks on multiple water systems in the U.S., affecting over 30 water systems in Minnesota, 9 in Michigan, plus some suspicious activity in Wisconsin. The hackers locked out operators from essential monitors to the water systems, such as how much water is in the water towers and water pressure. Luckily, the water was still safe to drink. Now get this. Anthony Fauci, who Republicans believe is responsible for causing the pandemic, knew about the virus being made in China, had a hearing in the Senate after getting his diary read. And this is ridiculous. For 3 hours straight, he was asked 111 questions and did not answer one of them, invoking the Fifth Amendment, which is the right to remain silent to every question so he does not incriminate himself. Republicans argue this is abuse of the right because he cannot incriminate himself, as Joe Biden had pardoned him from being charged for any crimes from January 1st, 2014, all the way up to Joe Biden's last day, January 19th, 2025. Next, 12 million eye drop bottles have been recalled due to them being potentially contaminated and a suspicion of a foreign substance in the products. Also, to prevent more crypto scams in Minnesota, crypto kiosks and crypto ATMs are now banned. I always in the news like to share something sad for us to pray for. And this time, I want to pray for 9 people who lost their lives and the dozens who are injured after Russia launched a missile at Ukraine. Please pray for these people. Next up, in some sciencey news, researchers at the University of Minnesota built a tiny artificial cell named Spud Cell that can eat, grow, and split into new cells, helping us understand further how cell life works. Next, a new species was discovered. Scientists identified a brand new monkey species in the rainforest of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Named Lickwelly, it has bright orange lips and makes a sound like a croaking frog. Next, in some more news, thanks to the Mars rover, we have discovered honeycomb-like rock patterns. In my opinion, at this point, the world is getting tired. When are we going to go back and actually stand on the moon? Or better yet, another planet, considering the tech they had then is less powerful than our smartphone. Speaking of smartphone, Apple launched Apple Upgrade, and for some reason, no one really cares about it. Speaking of smartphone, Apple launched Apple Upgrade, and for some reason, no one really cares about it. How it works is you get a phone immediately, you pay monthly for a set amount of time as a lease, and then after you pay it all back, you are eligible for an upgrade. For example, an iPhone 17e is $17.99 per month with this service, which is technically, if you do the math, cheaper than buying it up front if you only have it for those 24 months. But, as I said, there's a catch. You don't own the device, so eventually you must return it or upgrade it. Plus, it is semi-restricted, like you can only hook it up to major carriers. Plus, if you don't pay it back, your Apple account can go into a suspended state where it cannot download apps, purchase things, or use many Apple services. Your cellular service can also be suspended. But overall, this helps a lot of people because many people, especially in poorer countries, can't afford a phone. Now that I have fed you with tons of information, as well as my controversial opinion on space, too, it's time to use information from your brain with unrelated trivia. Question 1 is U.S. history themed. What years were the Mexican War? A. 1846 to 1848. B. 1841 to 1849. C. 1842 to 1844. Or D. 1845 to 1849. I'm going to give you a minute to think. Okay, the correct answer is A. 1846 to 1848 was the Mexican War. Question 2 is technology themed. What does GPT stand for? A. Generative Processing Technology. B. Generative Pre-trained Transformer. C. General Program Technology. Or D. Genius Pre-trained Transformer. I'm going to give you a minute to think. Okay, the correct answer is B. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer and is commonly known for its use in OpenAI products like ChatGPT. Question 3 is Florida themed. The first commercial flight ever was connecting Florida cities and was in 1914. What cities were they? A. Orlando to Tampa. B. St. Petersburg to Tampa. C. Orlando to Miami. Or D. Pensacola to Jacksonville. I'm going to give you a minute to think. Okay, the correct answer is B. St. Petersburg to Tampa was the first ever commercial flight ever and flew back the same day. Question 4 is gaming themed. What video game was famously taken to space in 1993? A. Super Mario Bros. World. B. Super Mario Free. C. Galaga. Or D. Tetris. I'm going to give you a minute to think. Okay, the correct answer is D. In 1993, a Russian astronaut took his Game Boy with Tetris on it to space. Question 5 is sports themed. What two NASCAR races are always both on the same day? A. Indianapolis 500 and Coca-Cola 600. B. Daytona 500 and Severn 500. C. Brickyard 400 and Severn 500. Or D. Daytona 500 and Indianapolis 500. I'm going to give you a minute to think. Okay, the correct answer is A. The Indianapolis 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 are always held on the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. And that concludes our trivia. Let me know in the comments below how many you got right. Now time for the fun stuff. Are you ready to smile? We're going to tell a joke. Why did the pianist apply for a job as a video game developer? Any guesses? He knew about C#. Haha, get it? Most video games, especially those made off of the Unity program, use what is called C#, and it is a variant of the C programming language. And also C# like in piano. And so more related to tech, it is time for a back-to-school tech tip. I have 2 back-to-school tech tips for today, actually, not just one. Starting with one for Apple Watch users. Especially with a beeping notification machine on your wrist, it can be hard to focus in school, even with Do Not Disturb enabled. But with school time mode, when enabled, your watch will only show you the time, emergency call, and if you somehow forget it when you learn too much and your brain throws out old information, your name. To set this up, if your parent has your Apple Watch linked to them, they can open the Apple Watch app, select your watch, and then under the menu of features provided to them, tap school time. From there, they can set school schedules as well as, if they want, to be notified when you exit school time and manually enter it. If your watch is not linked to a family member, press the side button on your watch to open Control Center, tap the Add button, and then choose the school time icon, which is the one with the person raising their hand. And if you must have it automated, remember, you can always use the Shortcuts app too. My other tech tip is for iPhone users. You can set a custom school focus mode on your phone. Open Settings, tap Focus, and then add a focus. From there, you can customize it and do things like add filters, select who can give you notifications, select times to automatically put the setting on, and even change your wallpaper. Also, If you wish, you could have it use signals around you to automatically turn it on when it thinks it should be on. Before we close down, I'd like to share I have partnered with Advent Health, a nonprofit hospital to help destigmatize children's mental health. And you can help out today by donating. To donate, please go to www.thedavisnightshow.com, and then under the About Us section, you will see a link to donate. And if you can't donate, please remember to rate and review my podcast. Or if you're on YouTube, subscribe. As you head back to school this year, remember this. Believe in yourself, learn from your mistakes, don't give up, ask questions, work hard, be kind, and most of all, trust God. Remember, your character is built one decision at a time. I hope you have an incredible school year. Thanks for listening to the Davis Night Show. We'll see you next time. Bye.